as they say, we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. There you go. Before we hit the stuff that we do, um, why don't we tell everybody what we're smoking today? Just so we're clear, I'm smoking something different. I am smoking a Davidoff
Oh,
Year of
wow.
the Tiger.
A Year of the Tiger. Now,
Yeah,
that is
that's my birth year.
2022.
Yes. Yeah. So
Um,
yeah. So I'm smoking a Year of the Tiger, and where I am at in Havana today, it is 30 Celsius already at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I've decided
have they
to
have they have
dress
they have
appropriately.
they just renamed a town in Austin as
The
Havana,
Havana, Austin.
Havana,
Yes, it's
Texas?
an Havana section of Austin. That's true.
Havana, Texas.
There you go. So now, before, what are you smoking? And then we're going to hit the little intro button to
I-
clear all the
I'm
legal stuff.
smoking round two of. There's a reason I'm smoking this cigar. So I'm smoking Flor de Caño.
Mm,
It is. I don't know if you could see it properly.
sure.
Exclusive of Canada. I forget the name of this Vitola. This is a cigar that AJ Patel gave me about a week ago. I smoked it, loved it, so I got another one. And I thought I would smoke this right now. Even though I'm going to do a short. Mine are not histories, mine are stories. Okay, so I'm
Yes.
going to do a short story from a different perspective about a brand or a sub brand, Behike, from the Cohiba brand, which
Mhm.
I've been
Sure.
promising to do. But I would like to do it my way in the sense that there's enough people out there wearing silly suits, who think they're from a time that's gone by. They're as recent
Are
as
you talking
me.
about Nick Foles? Are you talking about Nick Foles' article in the
No,
Financial
I
Times?
don't mean
Yes, you
that.
are.
But I
Yes, you
don't mean
do.
this. But there's slightly foppish, dandyish sort of
Yeah.
pretense of I
Yeah.
belong to another. That's
Yeah.
fine. If that's how you want to sell a cigar or a Rolls
Right.
Royce or a mansion, that's cool as far as I'm concerned. Actually, I'm what my what's going on in my brain is I enjoy marketing. I'm someone who
Right.
enjoys marketing. Okay, what I don't like
Right.
is marketing that is designed to price hike for the hell of it. If it's a product that's
Right.
worth it, I get it. But this unnecessary sort of like, I guess we all do it. You know what? I'm a hypocrite, right? I do the same thing, right? I try and associate history but the way that perhaps might be slightly different or my attitude is different is I want to get to the product history rather than the sort of if you're a dandy you need to smoke this cigar. I
Right.
mean
Right. Right.
that's fine. I don't really have an issue, but that's not me. All right,
Yeah.
okay. You
And
come
this,
you come here for a story from a different perspective from a
right.
guy who smokes cigars, and I can get past the suits and this sort of arse. It's basically arse-like behavior. All right, these are dandies,
Yeah.
okay,
I'm not.
right?
I'm not
And I
impressed with
have no
Nick
problem with
Foles.
it. Yeah, each to their own. I
Yeah.
almost sound as if I'm problem. I almost sound as if I'm contradictory. Yeah, each to
Yeah.
their own. But it's not me, and this is not what this channel is about. This channel
That's
is
right.
about um what interesting aspects of brand history, of product history, that not everyone will talk about, perhaps, or not necessarily are known by even newcomers to the industry,
Right.
that might entice them into trying something new. I'm like that. And the reason I talk about these things is because that's my mentality towards trying new
Right.
cigars, new brands, new vitolas. Someone. Okay, I'm going to shout out his name, Roy Sommer, who's the head of marketing at Davidoff, right? He very cheekily sent me a text. I think it was a week ago. There's some cheekiness to it, but also, there you go, Davidoff, Year of the Tiger. There's some cheekiness to it, but also, I think he was being slightly honest as well. He said, Reza, you're turning into a bit of a Cuban snob. And it's not that, it's palate, right? We all had
All
our
right.
favorite cartoons growing up, right? We all have our favorite places where we get our suits made or buy our suits or whatever. It's just a
Right.
palate thing. It's like you
Yeah,
like
I
something,
agree.
you like something, okay? All right. But I'm happy to try other things. But when
No,
it
you're
comes
not.
to no, it's true. If it comes to trying something new, what entices me apart from the band and the color of the band
All right.
and what company I'm in is there anything small, just a small piece of history that entices
Right.
me? And so the reason I'm gonna do you a very, very short coverage about Behike is because I tried to find what the center of this brand is. What
Okay.
would be the reason or rationale to try it again and again and again? And also to understand why this has become such a top end product. I don't need a fop or a dandy in a silly suit to tell me that this is a great product, right?
Can we
I don't
just
need,
can we
because
just spell this
that's
out?
like someone that, honestly, you know what? That's like someone saying a Rolls Royce is built of the best materials, therefore it's the best car. I mean, no fucking shit, Sherlock. Yeah, right. If it's built of the best materials, it is the best materialed car. Now, after that, it's very subjective as to whether you like it or it suits your taste, whether you can afford it, whether you think it's worth it. All those other things come secondary, right? But I don't
Right.
need someone to tell me, oh, this is the best because they say it's the best.
Yeah.
That's
Wait,
arse.
let me just do this really quick.
Can I
One,
light
he's
up? Can I
talking.
light up? Can I light up? Can
I'm,
I
yeah,
light
I'm
up?
going to light up too. I'm lighting my dad up. First of all, we're talking about Nick Foles' article that was in the Financial Times and just Nick Foles' presentation in general. Number two, cigar analyst asked if Usman will be joining today. No, Usman has a personal
Usman
thing he
has
had to do.
has
A person,
a
as
death
a
in the
person,
family.
a death in the family. So
Is a
our
death in the
condolences to
family,
him.
so he's absolutely excused. Wish
Yeah.
him well.
Yes.
It's Eid day today in Pakistan. Pakistan sort of lags behind one day as well. So I mean, it's sort of mixed messages from that perspective. But that's why Usman's not on. So basically,
Right.
what I'm going to have to do is make, in a very respectful way, I'm
Here
going to
it
have to
comes.
try and take Stephen apart a little bit, but
Good luck with that.
unfortunately, Stephen doesn't give me any material because Stephen just agrees with me on most of the time, and I agree with Stephen,
There
and
you go.
that's mildly problematic.
Yes.
Just as a reminder to anyone watching, Flor de
Yeah, let's-
Cano,
there you go.
exclusive of Canada. I don't. Someone to please tell me what the name of this Vitola is. I keep forgetting what the fucking hell it is.
And just so
But
before we run the
it's a
credits, just to let everybody know.
Siberia, something like.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's that one. Just to let everybody know, Year of the Tiger by Davidoff. So Davidoff, there you go. So the guy
oh,
who keeps sending you text messages, there you have it. So, and now we're going to run the credits, and then we're going to actually start the show and make fun of Nick Foles some more, and the Financial Times for not
no,
hiring a
no, no.
real cigar
You're
writer.
encouraged me to make fun of people just because you want
I
to just
get
go back
perverse
to
pleasure. I get perverse
normal
pleasure out
service.
of it. Hey, Nick, we're coming for you, pal. Anyway,
Play the
hold on,
credits.
everybody. Here are the credits.
This is True OF Entertainment.
Oh fucking hell! Not this show again.
Welcome to Habanos Saturday, the fastest growing cigar show on YouTube with over 100,000 subscribers. Come join us every Saturday live. Every Saturday live.
And we're
Folks, I
back.
don't know if any of you watching it. This is an absolutely outstanding. Listen, don't take my word for it. Yeah,
Yeah, buy one.
don't take my word for it. But that's at your risk.
That's right. And just remember,
That is one hell of a cigar.
every
It's
time
sort of
Rizzo
like
talks about a cigar,
it's
it's
sort of
so loud.
like it's sort of like a bit of a pocket rocket.
Well,
I've
just so
noticed
we're
some of the
clear,
small, no, I've
that's
noticed some of the
different.
smaller vitolas,
Yeah, yeah.
that I didn't really often smoke, but um, I went through a spate in the last 2 months of smoking a lot of H up and half Coronas because actually, as a small cigar for a cigar that's sort of like, well, everyone says there's a 25-minute smoke, but I'm just stretching it out 3 times that length, right? I want
Okay.
at least 1 hour, 30 minutes. I can smoke an H Corona, half Corona, H up and half Corona for that long.
Right.
But the thing is, they deliver so much flavor, especially the oil extraction out of those smaller cigars. It's almost as if it might be a little bit of a science to this. So the heat of the cigar compared to the, I told you at some stage I'm going to do the scientific ratio. The
Mhm.
scientific ratio, in my opinion, is a very simple one. It's the ring gauge to length
Okay.
ratio, which is not a ratio that's used. Was basically the weight of tobacco, I would have thought, right? Yeah, but even then,
Mhm.
that it can't be the weight because some cigars are packed more loosely, some cigars are packed
Right.
more densely. But that ratio of ring gauge to length in itself can determine, or it might have a coefficient. I'm getting a bit scientific, yeah. A coefficient of
Wow.
how much oil you could extract from the cigar, because on a smaller vitola, I guess there is cooler smokes and more oils are coming out of it. Anyway, this is
Okay.
all just subjective stuff. I'm trying to sound, perhaps I'm trying to sound more intelligent than I am, but I'm actually quite intelligent because I did a physics degree, so I know about these things. Yeah. Um. So go
And
fuck yourself.
at what university did you do your physics degree in?
At the University of Life on planet Earth.
Oh my
Um.
God. No,
In
seriously, what
my
university? What
In my
university did you
head,
go
I
to?
was at the University of Alexandria 3,000 years ago.
Great. What
Um,
university did you really? What university
well,
did your sheepskin
that
come
would be
from?
grandiose publicity, yeah. And I'm not one of these fops or dandies that has to live by a badge, yeah. I'm not one of those people who fucking
And you don't
gives
have
two
a
fucking who's what
and you
university.
don't have
But
a
it was a
and you don't
fucking
have a
good
4.0. Great.
university. It was a fucking good one.
Was it like was it Oxford or Reading or was it one of those? Edmonton? Oh, it was up. There was a
Edmonton is sort of like a damp district of London.
okay. All right. Well, listen, I didn't go to I didn't go to Oxford. So, and I know good words like the president.
No, I don't believe in this label nonsense.
Hmm. Okay. Good to know. So
Um,
are you
uh,
done beating up on the dandy? Hold on. Let's see. We have a comment from
I'm not
another
beating
fan.
up on any dandy. You're just egging me to pushing me to like fucking say something fucking controversial. So that there's 6 billion.
Yes. For the
It's
fans. So,
and I refuse. I actually refuse to
okay. Hey,
engage
listen,
in that conversation.
you don't have to.
I like to think that every human being has their own palate. I like to think that regardless of how stupidly you dress, yeah, and how much of a
Oh
cock
my
you look
God.
like, yeah, you can
Yeah.
still have an opinion.
Right. Even if it's wrong.
No, the thing is this what I do like about
Yes.
this, I can tell you what I like and I can tell you what I don't like. What I like
Please.
about actually, do you want me to do my little Behike kind of quick roundup?
Ooh, yes, you know what? And I'm gonna look at the time so I know where to cut this short. And by the
I'm
way,
not
just
going to
for
do
the
a lot. This is not going to be a
it's
long
okay.
story, right?
It's
But the
okay.
thing
It's
is this,
okay.
I
It's
want to
okay.
cap.
Yeah, let me just say this before you. I know we know it's not gonna be a long story, like your love life. So here's how we're looking at this. So the people below
Apparently
that are watching
that's out as well.
as well, yes. Um, for the people that are watching live and for the people that are going to watch the rebroadcast below, you'll see a little link that says Habano Interviews and Histories. So if you click that and you want to see Anna Lopez, she's coming one day. You can see the Zhao interview. You'll see all the histories we've done. This will be there as well. So if you don't want to watch the full show and see Riza in all his magnificent glory, tell you how Nick Foles is the worst cigar reviewer in the world,
But why
then
would you
you,
keep saying so like that? He obviously knows his cigars inside out,
I'm
right?
just
It's, but I,
no,
but what
okay.
I don't, what I can tell you what I. Okay, shall I do the Behike story?
Let me, yeah, please do the BK story. Let me give you a close up because that's what we do. Go ahead. The BK story live. There you go.
Oh,
Okay.
is it my turn? Is it my
Oh
turn?
my God. Here we go. Yes, it's your turn, princess.
The Behike story is essentially this, okay?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to go into sort of the ring gauges and vitolas and how magnificent the cigar is, yeah? I'm not going into this
Okay.
crap, yeah? Okay, basically, what now I'm going to have to go for prompts on this one because you know me,
I know you.
um, I don't want to get things wrong. But okay, forget the prompts, yeah? Let's
Yeah.
go off piece. The BK story is a very simple story, okay? You have a tobacco plant, and depending on the leaves and levels, so when I say levels, the top leaves are considered to be the premium leaves, and the leaves lower, less and less and less. And a cigar is constructed from essentially three types of leaves that come from various heights on the plant and are harvested at various times. Now, Senor Mike, who was a guy at Habanos, or is still there, right? Sort of is the guy who's credited with designing and pushing the Behike brand. What is Behike? Behike is the old Taino word for a ceremonial leader or a shaman or a witch doctor. And the way it ties into the Behike brand is the Behike brand is slightly different from most other Cuban brands. Why? At the center of it is a magic leaf.
Hmm.
The magic leaf. It's called the Medio Tempo, or the middle time, or the middle tempo, even. Okay? Now, this leaf is a magic leaf picked by a shaman in the middle of the night when it blooms only for 2 minutes. It's this magical, right? Oh, that's me pushing it. It's basically a type of leaf that appears at the top of the tobacco plant in one out of every 10 plants. It doesn't often appear. It appears, I guess, on a specific plant that's perhaps been watered more or has got more sunlight or where the soil is slightly more there's more nutrients in the soil around it. So it's a bunch of leaves that appear at the top of only a few of the tobacco plants. First of all, that's why it's rare. Its rarity is in its rarity. That's one thing. Secondly, once you've got the leaf, it has a certain character that has been described as analogous to MSG. You know, when you pour MSG or when you season food with MSG, it tastes better. And
Right.
that Medio Tempo leaf that is inserted in the Behike vitolas, the Behike 52, 54, 56, and now 58, acts a bit like seasoning. Remember we were talking last week about wrappers acting as seasoning?
Right.
And there was the reason I was talking about what that was as a preamble to this episode. If you want to smoke a Behike cigar, if you first of all, the rationale for smoking it is because this leaf gives this cigar a life that most other cigars don't have. A certain aroma, a certain taste that you will not get from the rest of the Cuban range. That's one thing. The other thing is, if you're going to go and buy a Rolls Royce, buy the most expensive one, buy the one that you can afford. The most amount of money you can afford, go and smoke the best one. Okay? And the third thing is, let me have to think. I had the third thing in my head. Remember that this is considered the top of the top of the top of the range of Cuban cigars. So don't smoke it necessarily for lifestyle. Try it and smoke it to see what you get out of it. Hopefully you should get a deeper, richer flavor. The last one I smoked, I think, was at number 6 Cavendish in December. That's my recollection.
Okay.
But try and absorb the fact that Behike, and this was told to me by my friend Christian maybe about 5 or 6 months ago, is a witch doctor or a shaman. And if a cigar is named that way, there are some magical qualities to it that come from a leaf that sits inside it. Everything else is branding and marketing. And that's my history for Behike.
That, my friend, as we like to say, that was a beauty. Ooh, look, that's a scaring everybody. We're too close. And Riz is gone. And hopefully he'll be back. And now he's back because nobody wants to watch me.
I
Anyway,
didn't go anywhere.
what happened? I don't know. Who knew? Anyway, that was very cool. I didn't know about the Magic League. I had a BK a few months ago, and I always enjoy the BKs. So I've now I know why, because it has the magic leaf.
How
Like
long
by
did
a
I
human.
how long did I espouse on that?
5 minutes. It was beautiful. I cried. I teared. There was a
Well, no,
beginning. There was an end. A
listen.
middle act. It was
The folks that are listening can go and Google and look up the facts, right? I'm just trying to give you the center of the story, where I think the eye
right.
of the
Right.
storm is on this.
I
Yeah.
agree.
The band is a very pretty band. It's up to you whether your eye goes to that. It's up to you how much you want to spend, if you can afford to spend that much on a
Right.
cigar. We're talking, so like 80, 100 pounds
Yeah.
per stick
It's cool.
upwards in the UK. But the reason I wanted to give and impart the magic is actually, if I'm going to smoke a Behike, I'm smoking it for that magic,
Yeah, I agree.
that extra seasoning, that extra magic leaf, that extra rarity. And all the marketing and all the spin is designed really to capitalize on those things. But I don't know if people talk about those things as much as they should.
No.
Um,
And if you read that article that we just criticized by that guy that you don't want me to mention, he doesn't. And cigar analysts just said not retrohaling a BK should be a crime. What's your thoughts on that?
Cigar analyst Ali is beginning to sound like AJ Patel. That's exactly what AJ Patel says. So Ali, you're in good company. You should retrohale. You should
Yeah.
retrohale primarily because in any situation, you're getting or trying to get more oil out of the cigar. That's the whole
Right.
point. It's a receptacle of oil. The leaves are a receptacle of oil. Burning leaves in of itself is not the point. You can burn any leaves,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's these leaves that are rolled into a cigar come with oils that you're meant to extract, taste.
Yeah.
They might give you a psychological hit, and that's the whole point.
Yeah.
It is essentially a way of a very light way of getting a high.
Oh, very nice. I get on some of the Davidoff I do. Some when I do the retrohale and some of the Davidoff I will get a buzz. And I'm just like, that's a beauty. So, but some of the I retrohale Cubans. I haven't retrohaled a BK, so I'm sorry I committed a crime. Next time I smoke a BK, I will retrohale and see what happens. So there you go. So apparently we're not going to pick on that guy with the flowery thing in his jacket in the FT article that was written about the BK 58 anymore. So we'll move to another subject because, God forbid you would tell us how you
Yeah,
feel.
okay, okay. I'll tell you where I'm coming from, and I'll say it in a serious way. I do
Okay.
not come from this. I find
Uh-huh.
that a certain amount of marketing and a certain amount of this cigar culture that circulates around being a dandy or a fop or
Right.
wearing Savile Row suits. I've always felt this. I have ways that it's totally contrived. People who do not come from that world,
Right.
generally speaking, pretend to be in that world. Now it's
Gotcha.
okay. I mean, it's basically cosplay, isn't it? This new notion of cosplay,
Right.
dressing up
Right.
like a character and pretending to be a character, right?
Right.
They all do it, right? All these. No, I'm wrong. Some of these cigar Instagrammers, some of these cigar personalities pretend
Yeah.
to be a character that they're not,
Right.
right? Okay, in life and on social media.
Right.
We all of us are guilty of putting on face paint in public, right? Okay.
Right.
What I don't enjoy, or it's just not me. As this false bravado. I mean, I've been, I was at school like 40, 50 years ago. My schoolmasters were the real deal. They'd walk around with pipes and wearing blazers. That
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
real deal. Those were
Right.
people that I was surrounded by. These people are just pretending to be that,
Right.
right? Yeah, anyone can put on a Sherlock Holmes cap and pretend to be Sherlock Holmes, right? That's cosplay, right? But
Yeah.
actually being it is something else. And I'm far more contemporary in that. From the history is in appreciating the product, not pretending to be in the history, if you know what I mean. Uh, have you gone still? Are you?
No, I'm listening to you.
Oh,
I'm
fucking hell,
fascinated.
man! You were so fucking still. It was
I
like
know.
ridiculous. I thought you were frozen. So, as far as I'm concerned, the history of these Habanos cigars is based on the product development. If you get a little bit of an eye into how maybe the brand developed or how the marketing of that brand developed,
Mhm.
that's more interesting than pretending to be part of the history. You're
Right.
creating history from this moment onwards. Dress that way, be that way. But that's just my opinion. Once I've always said this, you don't like my opinion, put it in the dustbin. I couldn't care
There you
less.
go. Now, I will say, our friend Ali says he'll never be able to think, he'll never be able to look at the word dandy again without thinking of Nick Foles. And I told him then my evil plan has worked. So there you go. So, but I always thought that of Nick Foles when I've seen him. He's a little too flamboyant for me. Now his son
Yeah.
it seems like he has a clue about cigars, but he's dressing like his dad, I think, to do the flamboyant thing. And I'm
No,
kind of like, just
these
you
things
be
are
you.
no, honestly, these things are fine. These are absolutely
Right.
fine. But from
Oh,
my personal perspective,
yeah.
whether it matters or not, I'm happy to conclude that you don't have to take my perspective here. It's all contrived. It's
Yeah.
contrived nonsense. If you come from a certain time,
Hmm.
I guess this is old world nostalgia playing out in
Yeah.
dress and in style.
Right.
I don't have an issue with that. What I do have an issue with is to use that to say that is only what it is, and it's
Right.
not that.
Right. Yeah.
I just saw some before I came on. I saw this Instagram feed. I checked my Instagram before I come on just to see what's interesting going on. There's
Right.
world championships for shoe cleaning. I mean, shoe cleaning, for goodness sake, really? Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really? Have we got to that stage where we're
Apparently.
this bunch of dandies that we have
Yeah.
championships for shoe? I mean, shoe shine. The world's fucked up. These are the
I know.
wokest, pussiest people in the world. Okay,
Yes.
right.
I
As
agree.
far as I'm concerned, you
Yeah.
totally open to not agreeing with me. These are fucking pussies. Yeah.
I know. I agree with you. Listen, I love my shoes to be shiny that I can reflect the
A
sun from
man
them.
should not pay that much attention to himself. That's just vanity.
Well, you have
A
to look
man
good.
should. That's it's fine. And who am I to dictate? Yeah, but
Yeah.
there is a point at which when it's just vanity, 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 and it's
That's
all
true.
sort of like mutual ass kissing and
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, this is wonderful. You should please try this and all this
Right.
slipperiness is so fucking fake. It's
Yeah.
what it's. Sorry, I got carried away.
That's fine. Nick is going to be a guest on the show anyway. So no, but I will say something. I like my shoes nice and shiny. When I go when I'm traveling, anytime I can get my shoes shined and they do it right, that's a good thing because the shoes, if your shoes are scuffy and messy, not good. Your shoes are shiny and perfect. That's old school. I was brought up that way. So you have to always have perfect
Yeah, but
shoes
there's
and stuff.
world
Yeah,
championships in shoe
no,
shine. I mean, I
that's
don't get
ridiculous.
it.
Yeah, that I don't get. It's like, listen, we've become a society
I
of
mean,
ostriches. That's it.
how to upsell a shoe
Yeah.
to have world. I mean, fuck,
All right.
man. The words
All
won't come
right.
out of my mouth on this. Yeah, this is just ridiculous for me. It's just absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Ridiculous?
It's like
Yeah, it's terrible.
ridiculous. It's like having dustbin cleaning championships. You know,
Oh, are they going to have
I
that?
mean,
Oh, I'm going to
the
watch.
art of
What
cleaning a
channel?
dustbin. I mean,
Yeah,
fucking hell.
ESPN 12 will have that. That'll be great.
There's
I
only
can't
so
wait.
much pruning. There's only so much self pruning a
Yeah.
man should do, in my opinion. Okay,
Okay.
and
We're going to
that's
talk
where this slightly allergic reaction kind of is coming from. Okay,
from the
uh,
dandies, from a
it's
dandy.
not. Yeah, the thing is, I feel very, very. I don't really want to criticize anyone,
Yes, you do.
really.
Not much.
But actually, we're people of very strong opinions, right? We have strong opinions, and I find that people tend not to express these style of opinions on social media. I have very strong opinions about how seriously a person should take themselves, and
I
at
agree.
what point do they become, a caricature of themselves.
Right.
Okay, and does that help sell a product? Does that not help sell a
Right.
product? It's just this. I find it's slightly a fake culture.
I agree. And now Allie wants me to ask Nick Foles because we know Nick is going to watch this to be a guest on our show next week. Nick, you're more than welcome to come on, and you can dress as flamboyantly or Liberace as you want. And
Yeah,
you
but
and Riza and
sometimes.
I, and we'll talk about cigars. And hopefully Usman will be back, and it'll be an interesting conversation. I think that would be fun to have
I
Nick
don't
on.
think Usman will come on that show. I think
Yeah.
Usman will avoid the fire.
Okay. Okay. So Usman won't make it. I'll be there. Riza would be there, and Nick, you can come on. It'll be fun to have you on, and you can tell us what we do wrong, and we'll tell you what we think, and it'll be a fun show. It'll probably be the most honest show he's ever done. I've seen his videos, and I think that
It's
I find them
fine.
interesting.
I've had to change my point of view. Maybe for the better, maybe for the worse, right?
For the
Okay,
worst. For the worst. Yeah.
no. When it comes to successful marketing and projection,
Yeah. He's
I have to, like, my observation of these things is the person who's doing it to get hits and clicks and
right.
bait
Right.
people in, or are they doing it to promote a product, or is it both? It's always a combination of both things, but
Right.
ultimately business wins, yeah. Because if
Yeah.
people aren't watching you, who the fuck gives two hoots?
Right.
Okay, so I get it. Sometimes you have to push yourself. You have to be a little bit of a circus act, yeah.
It's
And I
true.
think these fellows are wonderful circus acts. They're real circus
Yes.
clowns. Calling yourself a clown and actually being a clown are two different things.
Right.
Isn't that right, Ali?
Ali's like, yes. So here's a question then. We do it because we love cigars. We also enjoy each other's company. And when Usman's here, we even enjoy his company. Yeah. So it's fun. So it's because of, like, you have Abbott and Costello in a third. So the question then is, we do it for the love of the cigar. We do it for the fellowship. We do it because we enjoy, it's like we tell the fans, this is like if you're at a real cigar shop or a real chemist and you're sitting there with a bunch of guys, this is what you're going to talk about. So we do it for that. So we're not putting on anything. We're just us. So is that right or wrong? Because there's no, like, if you meet us in public or in person, we're the same people. Like, there's nothing that changes. I mean, I'm probably dressed a little better, but that's it. Other than that, you don't
I mean,
we're never change.
you're talking about keeping things real, okay? When it comes
Yeah.
to marketing, clearly things. I mean, look, the makeup industry
Right.
is one of the biggest industries in the world, right? Women put makeup on to look different and to look better, okay, in public or in private,
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
right? Yeah. So marketing is a great veneer. Sometimes it can entice you into trying something, or not sometimes. Most often, it's designed to get you buying something or trying
Right.
something that you wouldn't really, or to
Right.
continuously keep buying something.
Yeah.
So I understand the purpose of marketing. I understand. What I kind of find, I mean, maybe it's a London thing, yeah, it's the constant character playing. I find it interesting. Okay, let me put it this way. I find it interesting. I'm becoming a little bit more observational on this. Is why are people doing this constantly? Ultimately,
Right.
they enjoy it, right? Ultimately,
Yeah.
they enjoy sort of like that's fine, that's cool. Ultimately, they enjoy projecting. But what I find amusing is they are clearly not play. They're clearly playing a character.
Right.
Even if they believe it themselves, they're playing a character. Okay,
Okay.
that's not to say that I don't play a character from time to time. I don't mean that in a. I don't mean that in the same sense. Is we are sometimes we're polite when we need to be polite. Sometimes
Right.
we're acerbic when we need to be acerbic. Yeah, and sometimes it's not in your nature to be polite, but the situation dictates that you be polite. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's all those things, but I'm getting a little bit sick and tired of this foppery, this
Yeah.
dandyishness. I'm
Yeah.
getting a little bit sick and tired of it. Yeah, they're wearing the stupid fucking hats and the pink fucking jackets. Yeah, right. It's like the only person that could do things like that probably was Don Johnson in the '80s. Okay, right, and he
Yeah.
got away
That's
with
about. That's
it.
about it. That's about it.
That's my
Yeah.
opinion. That's his
Right.
opinion. Yeah. Okay. Um, there you go. That's my opinion. Someone will come on and say what a fucking arsehole Reza is. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. But that's okay. Now, Ali says the cigar analyst Nick will be telling us instead about which tailors across the world make his flipping. I like he puts flipping pocket squares instead of the cigars. So be prepared. Yes, we'll be prepared.
Well,
So,
he
but
is
that's
at the
okay.
look, people like that, and especially him, Mr.
Yeah.
Fultz. He is at the pinnacle of the sort of luxury lifestyle. Because I
Fashion.
think he's on the board of the World Horology Council in terms of watches and all that kind of stuff,
Ah, very nice.
and is so he's a very accomplished fellow.
Yeah.
I can't take that away. I think what happens is after a while you start uh, living sort of a role, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. To be very
Mhm.
honest with you, I'm saying this as me, as the
Mhm.
person that lives in. It's not for me.
Mm.
It's not for me, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'd rather the projection of education history on products was much more focused on the product rather
Right.
than the bells and whistles that come with it.
And kind of like the lifestyle. It's more instead of talking about the
Yeah, I
lifestyle,
mean,
like we talked about the BK.
If you're going to buy a Mercedes, the
Right.
final thing you choose is the color. But at first, you choose the engineering, you choose the
Right.
history, you choose the comfort, you choose the tech, you choose
Right.
the body of the car. The last thing you choose is I'll have it in blue, I'll have it in
Yeah.
silver. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is about people who just want to talk about the color of the fucking car.
Yeah. No,
You
the article
understand?
was.
I mean, that's the
I
best
got it.
analogy I can give, or that's the best way I can understand it, right?
Right.
Maybe I'm missing out on a lot. Maybe I
Yeah.
need to do a deeper dive, but that's ultimately the point of view that I get. It's all just bells and fucking whistles as far as
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
concerned. Yeah.
the article was sent to me. I mean, I get the FT, and I don't read the hide whatever section because it's just a waste. But the article was sent to me last night from a fan because I had said on a show that we're going to talk about this weekend. He said, "Have you seen this article?" And that's why I sent it to you because I read it and I knew who was in it. I was like, "Oh, this will get him going for this morning." So my evil plan worked. But to your point, I agree. I'm more interested in the Magic Leaf than
No,
is
but
the
what I find
BK
funny, you
58.
see, what I no, but yeah, 'cause just a little bit more on this, 1 minute more on this. What I find funny
Yeah.
is someone saying this is the summit of Cuban cigars. No fucking
Right.
shit, Sherlock. It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. State the
That's like
obvious.
saying gold is like gold. Yeah,
Yeah.
gold is
Right.
like gold. And
Yeah.
what new information do we have?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. The Cohiba 50 the Behike 58 is the pinnacle of the brand.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, okay, but tell me something about it. Yeah, tell me
Right.
something interesting about it. Tell me
Right.
tell me about the etymology of Behike. Tell me where that word comes from. Tell me about Medio Tempo. Why is it called Medio Tempo? Tell me
Right.
what happens if you smoke the Medio Tempo leaf on its own. Why wouldn't you make a cigar totally out of Medio Tempo?
Right.
That's a reasonable question. Why wouldn't you
Yeah.
make a cigar totally out of Medio Tempo?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
You wouldn't, because that would be making like a cigar out of seasoning, right? Salt is
Right.
a beautiful seasoning, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
but you wouldn't have a meal of salt, would you?
That
Seasoning is
that
added
is
on top just to elevate, just to
right.
lift the ingredients from the first place, right? So the Medio Tempo leaf lifts the sort of the um the alchemist or the shaman in this case, the Behike, who's the shaman, after which is named, has mixed these leaves for that medio tempo to just make everything else more active.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so those to me are the interesting dialogues, not what fucking suit I should wear to smoke my fucking cigar and how much of a
Right.
fop I should look. Right? Okay. No, 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 but
Right. Yeah.
that's I'm expressing my frustration. Maybe I'm not
Right.
expressing it necessarily very respectfully, but I'm expressing a
Yeah.
certain line which I think is a growing. I sit in cigar lounges. I smoke with cigar smokers. I'd like to
Right.
think I smoke with vetted cigar smokers who are more than. I tend not to smoke with superficial cigar smokers. Actually,
No, I
that's my
know.
that's.
Yeah.
I tend not to. I tend to smoke with people who say, "Look, I'm going through the regional series to see what the regional series in Italy. What kind of characteristics I get from that."
Right.
I'll smoke with people who will say, "Look, I'm only smoking aged cigars." I'll smoke with people who say, "Look, I'm sticking to the standard production. I have a budget, but I want to explore what each standard production brand gives me." That's the
Right.
kind of people that I sit with, who have a sort of intellectual dialogue going on in their head
Right.
and with me and in conviviality circles, apart from the other conversations that come up in a hearth, right? Sort of
Right.
like the
Right.
drink, or
Right.
whatever
Ooh,
may come
women.
up.
Ooh.
But people who I smoke with,
Mhm.
I'm very, very proud to say, we'll talk about the cigars.
Yeah.
Right? It's not nerd level. It's really interesting dialogue. If I sit down with three people to smoke, including myself to two others,
Right.
we'll talk about the cigars. We're not the kind of people that would just light a cigar. Oh, what are you smoking? Behike. What are you smoking? Cohiba. What are you smoking? Portugas. Oh, I
Right.
had a Portugas yesterday, and I had a Behike the day before. You get that kind of fucking crowd as well, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
I
I
agree.
bought a Hugo Boss suit 3 years ago. Now I'm buying Armani suits.
Right.
And what do you know about either? You
Yeah.
understand?
That's
You
yeah.
understand, right?
Dude, you're
Uh,
preaching to the choir. I'm the same way. I miss.
well, no.
I know my.
The point I was trying to make is this type of person that I'm talking about. I meant this sort of the group that I like is a very growing group. There's a very,
Yeah.
very sizable, intelligent community of cigar smokers out there who,
Right.
whilst all this foppish, dandyish behavior might appeal to, it's really good for YouTube because it's sort of like it gets heard in the USA where they don't have access to Cuban cigars, or it gets heard in China,
Or
wherever it is,
dandies. Or
wherever
dandies.
else, right? This is
Yeah.
not how real cigar smokers behave.
I agree with you. That's
This
why
is
we
not
have
how
this show.
real cigar. I may not be one of them, but I'm
Yeah.
around enough of them.
Right.
That's not how they behave. That's
Right.
not how they dress. That's not how they
Right.
talk. That's not
Right.
what they aspire to, and that's
Right.
not how they spend money. And I've just given you five. I've been able to rattle five things off like
Right.
that to you. No one
Right.
gives two fucking hoots how Nick Folks dresses
Right.
as real cigar smokers.
Right. Right.
Some might, but it is really good for marketing and publicity. And
Right.
I would expect that over the next couple of years, trends come and trends go.
Right.
People, marketing trends, social media trends will change towards people. I would hope that I said it selfishly because that's what I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear people talking about the construction, engineering,
Right.
the biology of cigars,
Right.
the the additional developments in bringing better leaves to you, whether they're
Right.
the horticultural developments, the agricultural developments, everything else, and some politics as well, a lot of history. As far as I've done maybe four, or excuse me, have I done 4 or 5
5.
histories? Okay.
Yeah. 5.
In just those 5 histories, I went for the 3 or 4 like really top end brands.
Right.
And last week I did the Viveros, which is I think the sort of like hidden brand in the
Right.
sort of Cuban in the Habanos universe, right? Okay. In exploring these histories, some common themes come up. I mean, I used to I love studying religion. And when I say studying religion, I don't mean religion itself. I mean the origins of religion,
Right.
and and you find common threads in the same way when you talk about Cuban cigars or any cigars, right? You find common threads. Common thread is, well, actually, it seems that in the last 60, 70 years, there's like single-handedly, the industry, in my opinion, seems to come directly from Fidel Castro. everything and anything he's done, and the history of these cigars and why people buy and why they're such a premium is because they relate to the things that he did, and not necessarily for cigars, but he's sort of a very central figure in sort of why people want this product.
Right.
In terms of we talked about Trinidad as a brand that was just developed to give
The
diplomatic gifts
diplomats,
around
right?
the world. We talked about Cohiba, which was a brand that Fidel Castro himself personally enjoyed for
Right.
himself,
By
right?
mistake.
Okay. We talked about the Heroes, which is a brand that was been around for at least 1961,
Right.
which was for internally within Cuba to use at special occasions, right? Even though it's a relatively inexpensive brand today in the
Right.
global market, right? Okay. So Fidel Castro seems to be playing a big role here,
Right.
right? Okay, that's one common thread. Call it a common leaf that I've picked out of the cigar, right? If a cigar is
Right.
constructed of many leaves. So those are the things I find interesting. Those are the things that I believe are self-sustaining. Fashions will come and go,
Right.
tastes will come and go, but the things that are self-sustaining are rooted in history. And
Right.
that's why I have this perspective. And I will tell you that many, many, many people are getting a little, including myself. I'm not me on my own. Many people just pissed off at the way the cigars are sort of like, oh,
Marketed and
it's
branded.
so you must
Yeah.
smoke this
Right.
cigar.
Right.
Go do a
Yeah.
fucking running jump.
Yeah. I agree.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I went on a bit of a rant and rave there, but I got ranty.
Nice to have you back, and the fans are loving it. Anyway, no, but I agree with you. I think the problem is that the cigar brands, whether it's non-Cuban or Cuban, are all trying to sell a lifestyle, and it's not a lifestyle. It is something more than that. And I think when they figure that out, they'll do much better. And the Cuban side, the problem with the Cuban is that it's Cuban and you can't get them in America, and I think that's more by design. So it makes it more appealing globally. Because we joke about the non-Cubans, but the non-Cubans I can buy anywhere. I can buy them any place on the planet. But a Cuban I'm going to get in certain places. So I think that's also part of the mystique. So I mean, for the Habanos, I got it right today. Good thing our other friend with the crazy name I can't pronounce isn't here. The Habanos cigars, I think that for them, that's the allure. For like the people in the United States, like I've got to try one. I have to get one. I have to do that. And then some people like
It's
them, and some people don't.
aspirational. It's
Yeah,
aspirational. It's
and
an
then other
aspirational
people,
thing.
but other people smoke them because they're like, oh, I smoke Cubans. Good for you. There's also some non-Cubans that are very good, and I'm having to smoke a Davidoff right now, which is an
Look,
excellent cigar.
look.
I know.
Let me just,
Here we go.
let me no, no. I mean, let me just
Here it
remind
comes.
you. Yeah, let me no,
Here
no.
we go.
Let me just remind you. Yeah, this is
Mhm.
the we're in a world where you give world championship awards to people who shine shoes. Yeah, that's the
Right.
world we're existing in right now. Okay,
Yeah.
London is becoming very fucking foppish.
Yeah.
London as a whole. Okay.
Right.
Uh, having said that,
Yeah.
there are a growing number of people that find this to be total fucking nonsense and say, you
That's
know what,
blasphemy.
I will price smoke. I can't afford to smoke an 80-pound cigar. I
Yeah.
want to find for £20 what is the best cigar. Uh, it could be a Cuban, it could be a New World. I can't afford to smoke a 30-pound cigar. I want to smoke a 20-pound cigar.
Right.
What can I get that's Cuban? What can I get that gives me a hit? What can I get that has some history to it? What can I get that other people aren't trying? What can I get that is going to taste great with a coffee in the morning? What can I get that is going to be great on the retro hill? You can find, you can look, and this process of education is it's I'm self-educating and I'm trying to share this out. I don't believe in being a custodian of information. Information
Right.
is only good, and education is good when it's spread. Yeah. Um, but this dandyishness, let me get it.
Hmm.
Dandyishness is going to die a death, in my opinion.
I agree.
So I think people have to work out a new modus operandi.
Yeah.
Um, operandum, sorry,
Let me
singular.
ask you this. Will it die because of the person or persons that are dressing flamboyantly like Liberace and almost talking like him, doing the presentation because they're dying because they're just old? Or is it going to die because the public in general are going to be like, you know what? I want, for lack of a better term, the Joe Rogan approach to cigars, which is kind of what we give. So is that what you're thinking? It's going to be like, listen, let's give them real approach, real
I,
history,
I,
and let them go
I,
try it.
Look, fashions will come and go, right?
Right, right,
Fashions will come and go, styles will come and go, tastes will come
right,
and go, right? The common thread that stays is the product and the
right,
history of the product, okay?
right,
If you are true to the history, so example, if you go to buy a Rolls Royce, first of all, you need a lot of money to buy a Rolls Royce, right?
right, right,
But there are people with plenty of money that don't have Rolls Royces,
right,
okay? There are people who, some people have a lot of money and taste, and some people have a lot of money and absolutely zero taste, correct? Okay,
right.
and
That's true.
yeah, okay, right. What I enjoy is someone who has the money to go and buy a Rolls Royce, and they choose a Rolls Royce because they've spent time to work out that, hang on, the leather
Hmm.
is a certain quality. The history of the car is this. When I wear this Rolls Royce is a suit. When I put this suit on, it fits me because I have some connection to it. My father
Right,
owned a Rolls Royce, or I always wanted one, so I went and researched the history.
right,
I've always wanted to have a car that had a hand painted line going down the side,
right,
which is different. It's
right,
something of intrinsic value that connects you to the product.
right.
Okay. You can ask me a very, very simple question. Reza, you're not Cuban. What the fuck are you doing smoking cigar? My connection to Cuban cigars, or cigars generally, but mainly Cuban cigars, is my
Your
father.
dad.
My father,
Right.
I grew up watching my father smoke these cigars, and there was this inherent magic in that. What the
Yeah.
hell is this person doing that I aspire to do? It could have been driving a car. I aspired to
Mhm.
driving a car because I saw my father driving a car. I
Right,
aspired to being a family man because I saw my father's. So
right,
you get those cues of connection. Okay, you you don't think, oh, I want to be a family man because my father wears an expensive suit. You
right,
don't
right,
think that way,
right.
right? Okay, and nor
Hmm.
do I think that way about cigars. Okay, and I'm saying to you that I am, even though I'm not a spring chicken anymore, I'm seeing a lot of people who have some sort of similarity to that perspective.
Right,
And I'm talking about younger cigar smokers. I'm talking about cigar
right.
smokers who are like sort of 22, 23, 24 years old. I was sitting at a really nice Italian place yesterday evening. I actually wasn't smoking, I was having drinks. I posted it on my social media, right? And the guy mixing drinks, really nice guy, Honduran guy. He's just starting his cigar journey, but he's interested in cigars. Again, from a why should I smoke this? Why should I
Right,
smoke this? And it's nothing to do with expense, it's nothing to do with, you know, how amazing it makes me look. He's interested in the product.
right, right.
And that's another example of another youngish kind of person trying to get into a a hobby. Let's call this a hobby. Cigar
Yep.
smoking is a hobby. Yeah.
Right,
I don't believe it's an addiction. It's a hobby which comes with many other things. It's sort of a
right.
self enjoyment. The most important thing I think it comes with, unless you're smoking a cigar on your own, is the conviviality that it generates.
There you go.
The thing that we do, if no one was watching, we'd still be doing it.
That's very true.
We'd be doing this over WhatsApp. We'd be
Yeah.
doing a video call, right?
If we do a Zoom call, yeah.
We'd be saying, Stephen, this is, I would like to think that this is almost the exact conversation that,
Yeah.
and I think we have had conversations like this, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
we've had these conversations off air and we laugh when we're done before we hang up. We'll say, this is literally like we just did the show because we have
That's
the same
exactly right. I mean,
conversations
I
during
think
the week.
I've heard that out of your mouth maybe 10, 15 times, that this is
Hmm.
exactly how the show would go,
This is
right?
the show. Yeah.
I'm not under any false pretenses that we're trying to sort of like keep it real, or we're sort of like, oh, we have
Yeah.
to keep it real. This is us. This is how we
Yeah.
talk, right? Okay. And sometimes off piste we can be more aggressive or even calmer.
Right. Yeah.
It's just so the process of discussing cigars, or the process of being in this industry,
Right.
generates this convivial relationship, this
Yeah.
cordiality.
Right.
Uh, you're actually searching for like-minded people, and also when there are not like-minded people, what someone brings that's new to the discussion, or is
Yeah.
maybe you're spending time around smokers, and you can learn something from them in terms of how else to extract the oils, else
Right.
to enjoy the flavor, how else to elevate your smoking experience. Maybe you can
Right.
teach them, they can teach you. So that's what it's about.
I agree. But that's my statement I made earlier is that if you bump into us in public, in a public setting, and you sat and smoked cigars with us, you'd get the same two people, or when Usman's with us, three people that you would get on the show. There's no difference. It's the same personalities. Like I said, I may be dressed a little better, but that's about it. Other than that, it's the same personality. You don't get whatchamacallit. There's not like no one's putting on an act. It's just, this is it. This is it. We're here to educate. We're here to have a good time with the fans, and that's it. And if we teach them something in the process, it's, as we say, a beauty, and that's the important
It's a
thing.
beauty if that also happens. If people are
Yeah.
interested, that also happens. But otherwise, I don't give two fucking hoots. I'm here to
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
nice cigar with you and to shoot the
There you
breeze.
go.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, and have a good time. I make fun of Nick Foles now, so this is awesome. I'm loving this. So
Well, I think you've picked up the mantle on that, right? I'm
yes,
going
I know.
I'm going a little bit more easy, primarily because there are. Uh, Look, I think it's an intelligent approach. Generally speaking, yeah, it's an intelligent
Right,
approach to concede the fact that, hang on, you know what, you've got it all completely fucking wrong. I'm talking about myself here,
right.
right? Or you could have missed out something. There's clearly a trick that I'm missing. Okay.
Yeah,
Having said that, I can see it for what it is. This is just great marketing and publicity,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It gets people into free events.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I won't say cynical. Cynical sounds contrived, right? I know this is just a game. It's just a big
Yeah.
game of who can climb to the top. It's like Trump
Yeah.
and Elon Musk. Who's got more money and who's
Oh,
got more power, right? Yeah.
that's a
We did
that's a
allude to
that's a
that.
beauty.
It's just a big fucking
Yeah,
game. In
yeah.
the game, there are from time to time players with real integrity. I'm
Right.
trying really hard. I haven't got there. I'm trying really hard to have some integrity about what kind
Okay.
of cigar smoker I am and what kind of
Right.
industry participant I am.
Right. Right.
And so and so are you. You're pretty straight up. You say exactly what you feel, exactly how you
Mhm.
think it. That's how you
Right.
behave.
Yeah.
Everyone
And
is
everyone's different, and
everyone.
some people like that, and some people don't. But like we'll say tongue in cheek, um, and we do have brands that reach for contact us on LinkedIn. Go, can you review the cigar? And I'm like, sure, send me your cigar because they're non-Cubans, and I'll be like, send the cigar and we'll review it. And if I don't like it, I'm going to say it, and if I do, I do. So we've only had one or two that have actually sent that we reviewed because they were like, okay. Others are like, oh. Like, no, just because you send it to me and I smoke it and I'm grateful you sent it to me. But if it's shit, I will tell you that it's shit. And if it's a great smoke, I'm going to say,
Well,
this is a great
you're
smoke.
sending it not for a free smoke. You're sending it for someone to try to say, do you
Yeah.
like it or you don't like it, right? I mean, if you don't
Hmm.
like it, why don't you like it? If you like it, why do you like it?
Hmm.
That's what a customer review is, isn't it?
Yeah. And so to me, that's the most important thing. I had one guy says, well, he said, I'd love you to review my cigars. I go, great. You can, where do you like send them? He goes, well, you can buy one at a store. I go, if I'm going to spend my money, I'm spending my money on stuff I like. I don't know your cigar. Now, if I'm out and I meet people and I pick on Rocky Patel's cigar, like I did that, and I asked about the cigar, blah, 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 and the worst $100 I ever spent. Um, I should have known better. But so if I'm out and someone says, you got to really try this, I'm like, well, tell me about it. And other than saying, I bought a box, that should tell you everything. And they actually tell me about the construction, the flavor, the oil. Then now I'm interested. But when you're the manufacturer of a cigar and you're like, you should try it and buy my cigar. And I'm like, well, of course you're going to, but I need to hear from people that smoke it. So the ones that whatchamacallit that do it are good. What are we showing now? What are we looking at here?
No, I'm
Let's
just
a
showing you.
beauty.
I'm giving you a sort of why I can't get the focus. There you go. A
There you go.
half
Very nice.
half smoked view.
And just so you know, Ali said the slandering, which isn't slandering, Ali, it's a comment. Our opinion is like
Yes.
the seasoning to the
Yeah,
show. We all wait for it.
that's very nice of you. That's
Yes,
really very nice of you.
it's true. So next week we'll pick on some of those. But going back to Elon and Donnie, if I may, um, this is to like two little kids having a fight. Elon Musk says he's going to cancel the Dragon space program, so we're going to leave the astronauts stranded in space. I love that. That's just so Elon. And Donnie says he's going to cancel all his government contracts. I'm like, this is the best. You couldn't make a soap opera that's this cool.
I think it's fake. In the
Oh, really?
sense
You think?
that I think it's American wrestling. I think it's.
Okay.
I think I don't mean that in any
You mean
other
so
way
the
other
bill will
than
pass?
I think they're both in on it.
Oh, yeah. That's I thought about that first this morning, and I'm just like, I thought about it, but then I'm not really sure because I think this big beautiful bill that they're trying to pass has a lot of things in it that like they're taking away Medicare, some Social Security benefits. There's a law in there about AI can't be regulated for 10 years. There's a whole bunch of things in there. So to your point, it could be true because I think they're trying to take away from the actual body of the bill to put people at odds, if you will, with here's the other story. But in Lost Dollar Business Club this morning, we actually talked about the body of the bill, not just the fight between the two kids. So, but it could be just all a scam. So it'll be interesting to see.
We're talking about the richest man in the world, at least on
Well,
paper.
so he says.
At least on paper. At least on paper.
Right.
And we're talking about Donald Trump, who, from a capitalism perspective, is fucking success. Because even though people have said he's not a really good businessman or whatever, right? Well, clearly he is. He's sitting at the top. Actually, clearly he is. Even if it is just about business, right? He's found a way of sitting right on the top to do multi-billion, if not trillion-dollar deals with the Arabs, right?
As the president, and you're not supposed to do that. So he's doing a great job.
No, you say he's not supposed to do that.
Well, that's what the law said. The law says that. I hate to tell you that.
The
law
law
says you're supposed
is
to
another set of rules just made up by people, right? Okay.
Okay.
No, bear with me on this. Yeah. The whole world is a fucking game.
Well, that's very true.
The whole world is a fucking game. People make up the rules according to what they feel like and what suits them, and how to subjugate people, how to empower people, use people. We had I disturbed one of your other shows a few weeks ago. I believe it was the Sermon from the German.
2 months ago. Hey, new show this Tuesday. Come join.
And we were talking about my assertion is we were talking about billionaires, trillionaires.
Yeah.
What they do doesn't matter to them in any sense, right? They can have, it's like Godzilla and Godzilla having a fight. Yeah, they can have a fight. Actually, it's the city below that is getting devastated, right? They just get scratches, right? Everything else is what gets devastated, and they couldn't give two fucking hoots, right? Yeah, right. What I would say is that if I was in the mind of Donald Trump, right, I think God forbid from that perspective, but I'm sure but actually, fucking smart fellow. So is Elon. I was going to say Elon Trump.
Elon, same thing. Elon Trump, yeah.
Their ethos is, how can I be top of the pile?
Right.
Okay. When you want to be top of the pile, all bets are off. Whole countries break treaties to do what they want to do. Right. People change the rules to do what they want to do. You've got in America, you've got a constitution. Do you have constitutional amendments?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. Founding fathers did it.
That's the point. If it's written in stone, how can you amend it? Can you have a commandment amendment? The 10 Commandments. Can you amend one of the commandments?
Well, first of all, there's over 600 commandments, just so we're clear.
Correct.
But we have the basic 10. Now, we have amended a few. Thou shalt covet thy neighbor's wife. Thou shalt commit adultery. We've amended those.
You get the point, yeah?
I get the point, yeah.
Morals and ethics technically should not be negotiable. They should not be negotiable, correct?
Right.
But clearly they are. You just change them when you feel like. Even when you go to the Vatican, right? The Vatican updates its rules every time there's new president or new pope in. Yeah,
new pope, new guy with a funny hat and shoes. Yeah.
So consistency is designed to subjugate people, right? Or to put them in a false sense of security. Okay. When it comes to this, I don't know how I got onto this topic, right? Yeah. But Donald Trump. It's Godzilla versus another big Godzilla versus
King Kong.
They're just having a bit of a scrap, and everyone else is suffering. That's it.
Yeah. All right. Well, the good thing is it's going to be the end of the world.
It's like Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman having the
David Letterman
on the Letterman show, right?
Which was all staged.
It looks it. Everyone else is sort of like scratching their heads and watching and what's going on. They're the ones who are milking it.
Yeah, everyone's who they're no one else is in on the joke. Yeah,
the joke's on us. On us.
I agree. Well, that means it's the end of the world. Thank God for that.
Now you have to work out which one is Jerry Lawler. Is it Donald Trump or Elon Musk? And which one is Andy Kaufman?
That's very true. Or which one? It's like Martin and Lewis. Which one is Jerry and which one is Dean? I think that's more what this is. That's more what this one's like. Let's not belittle Gary Lawler, and Andy Kaufman, which is Martin and Lewis, is more what this is like. Keystone Cops, Abbott and Costello, the Three Stooges. This is what this has more remnants
And
of than.
the relevance is that Jerry Lawler, even after Andy Kaufman's death, kept it going for a long time.
Mhm.
Is that,
Yeah.
Was this real? Was it not real?
Mhm.
Was it real? Was it not,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
I
So
know,
when
it
it comes
was
to
good.
when it comes to this kind of stuff, right? It's just a game.
Yeah, and we hope that people enjoy the game that we play every Saturday. So there you go. I know, and it's a good. And the BK history, I will tell you, is what now. The big question, because I got emails on this week. You have the Ana Lopez interview somewhere in the can. How's that coming along? Because people are going to want to see that at some point.
Watch this space.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So you're still still working on it. Are you going to actually put
I
it up
don't have the
this year?
raw. I don't have the raw material as yet. I still
Oh,
don't have the raw
no.
material.
Oh.
The moment I have
Anna's
the raw
husband.
material, I'll work on it and put it up. But
Okay,
that's
Anna's
an
husband
interesting
hasn't sent it to you yet. Really?
one. Watch this space.
Ah,
Well, there's got to be something. There's got to be some lure to watch the show, apart from
yeah,
our wonderful personalities.
that's true. Okay, well, all right. So, well, to Mr. Lopez, anytime you can get us the raw footage of the interview that was 3 hours long, we'd really
Mr. Mendoza.
appreciate it.
Mr. Mendoza.
Mr. Mendoza, excuse me. Mr. Mendoza. Anytime you can get us the raw footage, we would love that. So we can actually put out the Ana Lopez interview. Let's pick on him for a little bit then. I'm just kidding. So they were very nice to do the interview. So, and the Zhao interview, people are enjoying.
Good,
So
good.
there you go. Yeah, you
More-
should do one
more-
with AJ. Maybe AJ would do one at number 6. Maybe AJ and you should sit down.
Yeah, I'll ask her. I'll ask around. I'll see who's up for
Yeah,
it.
I know. I mean, I know there's a line of people. You know who wants to be interviewed by you is Nick Foles, and he's going to dress all pretty in a pink suit for you. He told me, so I'm very excited. If he
I'm
doesn't
looking
come on
forward
the
to
show
that.
next week, I know. So, anything else you want to discuss with the fans before we leave, or is that it
I'm
for this
trying to
Saturday?
think of next week's cigar history.
Okay.
Even if it's been done before, I would like to do Partagas or Partagas.
I don't think we've done Partagas.
I would like to do Partagas. It's got a substantial history, right? But I again
Okay.
have to nail it down to 5 minutes and work out what are the sort of like really, really important
Right.
aspects of it.
Isn't there the mysterious death?
Notwithstanding the fact that in the last 2 or 3 days I've smoked some pretty cool Partagas Vitolas, which
Right.
I won't talk about now, but that's for next week.
I think we did a little bit or talked about, but the Mr. Partagas died mysteriously, didn't he? Didn't we talk about that? I remember that.
It was somewhere between having an accident or being murdered or falling off his horse riding between factories.
All three.
etc.
Yeah, all three, I think, is what happened.
Yeah, certain things. You've got all the history except someone's death is slightly dodgy.
Right.
There's something. I'm a little bit of a Inspector Clouseau when it comes to this. I think there is something fishy in the air.
And you're going to use the fin later, which will be fun. So I'm excited for you.
No, what am I going to use?
The fin? I would like to use your fin. You don't remember that when Peter Sellers would ask to use the phone, he'd go, "I'd like to use your fin," and the guy would
have been saying. You feel
yes. It didn't. Nobody knew what the fin was. And you know what? I read an article, and I read Peter Sellers' biography that somebody wrote, and they said that the Pink Panther movies he thought were like the worst things he ever did, and which is really funny. Like he's remembered for Dr. Strangelove and all these other movies, but the Pink Panther ones in my mind were his best, where he could care less, and you could tell, but because he cared less, the acting and it was just great. So
these were the first.
kudos.
The thing about Pink Panther movies, or Peter Sellers specifically,
Mhm.
I'm not quite sure if he did it on purpose or not. I saw my first Pink Panther movie when I was about 6 or 7 years old, and these are not movies for children. They're really grown-up movies. I mean, they're not adult movies, but they're like grown-up. They're sophisticated movies.
Yeah.
As a 6, 7-year-old, I found it absolutely fucking hilarious, and I was an addict of Peter Sellers from then on.
Yeah.
Because as I say, they're not kids' movies, or maybe. I mean, at that time, so we're talking late 70s. You had Disney movies and Herbie Goes Bananas and Love Bug and all
Herbie
that
the
kind
Love
of
Bug,
stuff,
sure.
right? Or Disney cartoons, these were ostensibly for adults. Again, not adult rating, but grown-up movies.
Yeah.
But I love them. I absolutely love them.
I do. So shout out to Peter Sellers and his movies, and the BK 52, 54s, and 58s. They'll probably sell out this week in London because we talked about them. Because anytime we talk about something, they seem to sell out. So there you go.
The
So it'll
Rolls
be
Royce is the best
exciting.
car in the world because it markets itself as the best car in the world. Therefore, it's the best car in the world. I mean, we have a lot of fucking nonsense.
He's talking about the article that was in the FT on May 28th, everybody. If you really want the article, we'll post it. If not, it's free. You can read it. But I think we beat up Nick enough today.
No,
And
you
Nick,
did. I didn't. I'm just a commentator. Who gives two
okay.
fucking shits what I say?
Now, the other thing I will say, Nick, we are an equal opportunity show. If you want to come on the show, you can dress as dandy as you'd like, and we would love to have a dialogue with you. Or you can just tell us to piss off. And I'm going to go with the piss off one for him. I don't think he's coming on the show. So there you have it. But we have other exciting guests coming. Lisman hopefully will be back next week or the week after.
Awesome.
Once again, our condolences to him and his family. To all our fans, thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Tell your friends. Share the show. Share the love. Share, because Rizza, you could tell he loves people. So you want to share that with your friends, and you want to have your cigar places play this 24/7 so they can feel the love that he gives. I'm just saying, that's what I would do. But that's just me.
You don't like it? Roll it up, put it in dustbin.
There you go. And next year, the Dustbin World Champions. So we're going to go to
Exactly.
We're going to do
Dustbin
that one
cleaning
live.
world championship.
That's-
It's a remarkable contraption. It's a receptacle for your trash. We're going to have a cleaning championship. Fuck off.
And with that, everybody, have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Don't forget to subscribe and like Rizza. Stay tuned, and we'll see everybody later. Bye, everybody. Cheers.